afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Podcast in the Park, the podcast for Deer Park Community City Schools. This is Director of Communications Jake Snyder here with you on Wednesday, November 1st for Episode 3 of our new district-wide podcast. Joining me here, as always, is Deer Park Superintendent Jay Phillips. Later in today's show, we'll be joined by Counselors Jason Spelic and Michelle Ellis to talk to us about our October initiative, Anti-Bullying Month. But to kick things off today, Mr. Phillips, it seems like the heat wave of the first couple of months is behind us, and in Deer Park, the fall means one thing, and that's the band's headed to the OMEA state competition. 25 years in a row now. What a tremendous run from our band. You were there on Sunday at Welcome Stadium in Dayton, right, Mr. Phillips?
I was there, Jake, and it was another great performance by our band. You know, Sundays in October seem to be a tradition for the band. Like you mentioned, 25 straight years in a row. We're proud of our band and our color guard and our students that work really hard to make this happen every year, as well as our staff, Mr. Suddendorf, Mr. Vetter, and our boosters. It takes tremendous support from a lot of people to be able to be as successful as they've been over the last 25 years. I thought they did an outstanding job on Sunday. I know the band finished with a rating of a 2, which is really, really good. I know everybody always strives for that 1 rating, but, to me, they were outstanding as always, and, just a real joy to watch. And once again, congratulations to the band and to all those parents, teachers, community members that, really go above and beyond to make sure that our bands are successful and that they're always performing at the level that they do.
Well, now that we've made it to November, Mr. Phillips, there's a couple of events sitting on the horizon that really make you proud to be part of Deer Park Schools. This Friday we have the Naturalization Ceremony, and then on November 10th, Holmes hosts the annual Veterans Day program. Tell us a little bit about those two events.
Yeah, both of these events are really cool things for Deer Park. First, the Naturalization Ceremony. I believe this is the second or third year we've done that. I attended last year, and it's just a really cool thing where folks of all different nationalities who have come to the United States of America actually pledge an oath of their allegiance to the United States and really give up all their rights from the country in which they came from. Just tells you what a great country we live in and, how many people actually want to be here and be part of the United States of America. And it's just a really cool thing to see. It can actually get pretty emotional for the folks there and their families who are pledging their allegiance to the United States of America. And it's just a good thing to witness and to be a part of. And like you said, I'm proud that Deer Park can host the Naturalization Ceremony and really give a lot of credit to Dr. Orsover, to high school for initiating this and really being proactive and getting the Naturalization Ceremony held here at Deer Park Junior Senior High School. This is a community that we want to be fully inclusive, and we want to include everybody, and everybody that goes to the Naturalization Ceremony will see what a great thing this is for not just Deer Park, but for the United States. And the second piece that you mentioned there, Jake, regarding the Veterans Day program, this has also become quite a tradition here in Deer Park. I believe this program was started around 20 years ago by Mrs. Huster when she used to be teaching at Howard Elementary. And it started off really small and recognizing a few veterans over in Chamberlain Park and has grown to what we now see today. We'll be recognizing somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 veterans at the program, and this has really turned into quite an event. We'll have breakfast and cake and coffee. Mrs. Lane, our art teacher, will have her second graders' artwork displayed there for an art exhibit. Mrs. Brown will also be having her second graders perform a musical number. And we'll also have a folding of the flag, which we will present to our veterans as well. This whole ceremony is something that makes us proud as a district and that we look forward to every year. We'll also have a slideshow and some singing of patriotic songs led by Mrs. Brown as well. This is a very moving program, and typically there's not a dry eye in the house, and we do our best to recognize some of the true heroes here in the Deer Park community.
And finally today, we have on our special guests, Counselors Jason Spelic and Michelle Ellis. Welcome to Podcast in the Park, guys. Now, October was Anti-Bullying Month, and I know the whole district has had several initiatives that take place during the month. But, Mr. Spelic, can you tell us a few of the things that were going on over at the Junior Senior High this month?
Sure, Jake. Thanks for inviting us on today. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about this very important topic. So during the month of October, various things were going on at the Junior Senior High School just to kind of promote the concept of anti-bullying, being an upstander rather than a bystander. So one of the groups that's involved with this is the Junior Senior High School Step Up Club. They help produce some new positive actions, anti-bullying signs for our hallways. If you walked down the hallways, you would see those. There were some lessons that were taught in the junior high classes, anti-bullying lessons. District-wide, that we also had our Unity Day T-shirt sale, which was a good turnout. We appreciate all those who bought a T-shirt this year. The junior senior high school also does a character education program called Thriving Learning Communities. So we did our kickoff day in regards to that, where the main teachers who were in charge of the TLC program started off, and then also the other teachers did supporting lessons to focus on the kids' character strengths. We also updated our Unity banner. If you've been in our high school cafeteria, there's a giant Unity banner that hangs in the back of the cafeteria. So our 7th grade students were asked if they were committed to taking a stand against bullying to come down and sign it. And we made sure that the teachers 7 through 12 had access to various topics and videos and discussion points about anti-bullying from the PACERS organization as well as the Ohio Department of Education. And then on Unity Day, which we recognized last Wednesday, we did Post-it Positivity, where all the students in the building came in to find positive little messages on their lockers all throughout the building, as well as wearing orange to support anti-bullying. And the last thing that we did was today. We did a Pay It Forward Day, start kicking off the canned food drive. We know that the high school community serve group is going to go out for the trick or treat for the hungry, and we asked students to bring in maybe just at least one canned food drive to pay it forward. So lots of things going on at the junior senior high school. Further information about bullying prevention could be found on at the junior senior high school webpage. You'll find a tab for bullying prevention.
Well, that's great stuff, Mr. Spelic. And of course, October is our specific month that we kind of address these issues. But that's not all that's going on here at Deer Park. So, Mrs. Ellis, can you kind of give us a little insight into our efforts on bullying throughout the year?
Sure. Yeah, we definitely address it throughout the year. It's something that we need to be proactive about throughout the year. So, especially at Holmes and at Amity, one thing that we do is really use a curriculum that's research-based. It's called Second Step Bullying Curriculum. And so this isn't just a one-shot lesson about bullying. This takes a look at all of the different aspects of bullying, from even identifying what it is a difference between bullying and a conflict, so the kids become really aware of what to look for and what bullying truly is. It also really takes a look at the role of the bystander, the power that the bystander has, because it's really going to take all the kids on board to really end bullying. So we have the Second Step Bullying Curriculum, so it's about a series of 5 lessons throughout the year. And then from there, we have different programs going on. Like our 3rd grade has a kindness club to really help the kids do different acts of kindness throughout the year. We'd have different guidance lessons throughout the year, just focusing on what does it look like to be a good friend? How do you know someone's being a good friend? And then at the Holmes level, each classroom teacher is actually doing lessons from our regular Second Step program. And with this, it helps the kids really identify what are feelings. How do you recognize how someone else is feeling? Because that's really huge to get that basis of understanding what feelings are and how to be a good friend to help end bullying down the road. We also offer a youth service club, and they have been really great, especially this past month. If you walk through the halls of Amity, you'll notice all of these anti-bullying posters, and those were really done by our youth service club. Sometimes I will have different small groups of kids that I work with and do small lessons, specifically targeting bullying and what it is and how to get it to stop. I think that's an area a lot of times kids just aren't quite sure how to go about having it stop and reporting, which is so important for us to have kids do, because a lot of times adults may not even recognize that it's going on because it can go kind of under the radar. So it's really important that we have kids come and let adults know, either adults in the school or the parents know that it's occurring, so we can really help stop it at school. And of course, we also have the thriving learning communities at our 5th and 6th grade level. So that's really great because it helps kids identify what their personal strengths are to build off of. And so those are just a few things that we have going on at the K-6 levels.
I just wanted to thank Mrs. Ellis and Mr. Spelic for giving their insights on what happens here in Deer Park schools. Not just through the month of October, which we know we put a spotlight on because it is anti-bullying month, but throughout the entire year. I know our staff and our administrators at the buildings work really hard to make this a great place to come to school, make our kids feel safe. I was really proud of the junior senior high school last year designated as a no place for hate zone. And, that's something that we really, really work hard on. It's not an easy thing to curb, especially when you're talking about middle school kids and high school kids and even elementary kids for that matter. When it comes to treating people the right way and doing things the right way, it's something that has to be revisited on a daily basis. You must constantly restate and state your expectations and model how to behave and how to work with others. But I feel like we've made a lot of progress here. It's something that's never going to be complete from a progress standpoint. We're always going to be continuing to try different things and to coach and to teach and to model correct and appropriate behaviors. It's a never-ending process, but I really think we've come a long way to establish a culture of positivity, to establish a culture of kindness, and also a culture that doesn't tolerate the bullying and those types of things. Our students have done a very nice job, since I've been here in Deer Park Schools, of really being accepting of one another and really trying to do the right things.
Well, thanks, Mr. Phillips. And that's going to wrap things up for the November edition of Podcast in the Park. Thanks for everyone to listening to episode 3, and we'll be back next month with 10 minutes or so from Mr. Phillips and myself, and more special guests from Jace Phillips, Jason Spelic, Michelle Ellis, and myself. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Wildcats.